Howdy there folks, Quinn of Snazzy Labs, and this is the video unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. It's quite a long name. This was introduced by Samsung last week. It was announced last week, and it will be made available worldwide this Friday, August 21st. I was too excited to do a formal video on it, so I just pressed record and unboxed the thing already. I was just too excited. So don't blame me, I'm sorry. It's not the typical video you're used to seeing from me. It is very informal, and I say and whatever. The full review of this in professional format will be available in a couple of weeks once I've had ample time to test the review out. But for now, the sloppy unboxing. So here's the box for the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. Keep in mind that this is a carrier version, AT&T sadly. So this is not the box that you'll get if you buy this phone internationally or unlocked. But that's the way it is here in the United States. We open up the box and we get a quick start guide, which is standard with pretty much every smartphone nowadays. You obviously get the phone itself, which we will talk about here in a minute. And then if we open this little cover here, we get a boring little advertisement from AT&T. We get a Samsung Pay advertisement, which is coming in late September. And one of the huge advantages to Samsung Pay, I'll talk about that. I was going to talk about this later, but I'll do it now. The huge advantage to Samsung Pay over Apple Pay or Google Wallet per se is that when this comes out, it uses a new technology called secure magnetic transfer. And that means you can use the phone to pay at virtually any point of sale terminal. So it doesn't use only NFC. You don't need to be at an NFC terminal to use Samsung Pay. You can hold it up to a magnetic reader, and apparently 95% of the time, it goes through. This gives this phone a huge advantage over Apple Pay, and this Samsung Pay is available on the Galaxy S6, the S6 Edge, the S6 Edge Plus, and the Note 5. Here we have a Manual de Información de Salud y Seguridad y de la Garantía. There's the English side. And we have here a micro USB cable, pretty standard. A pair of surely horrible earbuds, which I will not even pull out of the package. And we have, of course, the power adapter, which is an adaptive fast charging adapter. It uses the quick charge functionality, which is pretty dang cool. Samsung also announced something big, which allows the phone to be charged obviously wirelessly with Qi charging functionality, but the difference is that they also released what was called a rapid or quick wireless charge device. It's not out yet, but when it comes out, it's apparently going to use 90% efficiency of plugging it directly into the wall with adaptive fast charging. So it will charge wirelessly even faster than regular phones will charge via the wall, which is pretty dang cool. And that was one of the biggest problems with wireless charging. You have yourself a little SIM remover tool, which I will need to use here in a minute. And of course, we have the device itself. If we pull off this protective wrapping, which I can't lie, I already did to remove the little sticker here with my IMEI and everything. You have the AT&T tramp stamp, which is just a travesty. Stupid America and their dumb carriers. You have the 16 megapixel camera that we're used to seeing on previous models of the Samsung phones this year. You have the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus branding. You have, of course, on this side, the display, and you can see that really all it is just a monstrous Galaxy S6 Plus. Because that's what it is. Hardware-wise, it's essentially the same. If we talk about this and the Galaxy S6, the only difference is the RAM, which this model and the Note 5 have 4 gigabytes, whereas the previous models of this year, the S6 and the S6 Edge Plus, S6 and S6 Edge only had 3 gigs. But other than that, it is exactly the same. It has the same Exynos 7420 octa-core processor. Although it's important to mention that, of course, the display is a little larger, a lot larger actually, at 5.7 inches with the same 1440p resolution. And this screen looks fetching beautiful. I've already seen it and I love it and it's great. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the differences between this and the Note 5, because they were announced at the same press conference, and there isn't much difference, honestly. The only real huge differences you need to be aware of is the curve, obviously. The S6 Edge Plus does not feature the S Pen, whereas the Note 5 does. And the last difference is that being that this has a curved display and the Note 5 doesn't, this has some of the software tweaks like the quick contacts and most recently used or favorited apps that the Note 5 doesn't have. But other than that, they are identical phones, same battery capacity, 3,000 milliamp hours, which is not removable. And you can see it's rather large in the hand, but it's not monstrous at all. In fact, if we take the iPhone 6 here, the iPhone 6 Plus, I should say, it fits completely. underneath the footprint of the iPhone 6 Plus, which is a massive phone, don't get me wrong, but it is not, I mean, look at that. That's quite a bit smaller than the iPhone 6 Plus. There we go, line them up. So it is shorter, it is definitely narrower, and it is much nicer to hold in the hand than the iPhone 6 Plus, which I've always thought to be monstrosity. It's just absolutely huge. So let's power it on. Okay, I had to pause. Look how beautiful that display is. Wow. Okay, so I just finished getting the phone set up, and it is pretty beautiful. I was able to open it, set it up without any issues whatsoever. The fingerprint reader is excellent, works just as well as Touch ID. You can see that there are a lot of applications on here by stock. A lot are Samsung's default apps, which aren't that great. And then AT&T has added even more crapware. So that's one of the things that, although I love Android, bloatware is just rampant on the OS. When you get it, obviously you can, ditch all of them and get back to a stock-like experience. And I may even move to a separate launcher because I don't love the look of TouchWiz still. But one awesome functionality is if you swipe from the right-hand side, you can see there's a little tab there. If I swipe in on the edge, I can get a people edge, which is all of my recent or most important contacts. And then if I swipe over, I can get my favorite applications all accessible from one go, which is pretty dang neat. I do want to show you that the wireless charging functionality works just fine. Obviously, maybe it doesn't. There you go. Sometimes these are a little touchy about where exactly you place them. So this one appears to be in the upper region of the phone, but it works just fine. Obviously, this is standard Qi charging and not the quick wireless charging functionality, which once the Samsung releases their product, I will get one in here to test it out. But there you go. This is the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. There's not a ton to know about it. Obviously, I'll do a review in the next couple of weeks with the battery life and other important information, so you can decide whether or not it's worth a buy. But out of the box, it's pretty similar to the other phones that we've seen this year. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay snazzy.